Hello once again, my people. It is I, Vid, and welcome back to Temptation's Ballad. Last episode, went out. Sid and Artemy were sparring with Marrow, and Artemy bit Marrow. And honestly, I love Artemy. I love her, and she's fantastic. And now, I guess we're taking a break from fighting. So, let's get started. It turned out that taking a break meant being swept up by a wave of enthusiastic and supportive bone-breaker mercenary men who immediately showered them with food and beer. The mercenaries were attentive and chatty as they tended to the rookie's wound with words of encouragement. Sid and Artemy were literally carried to the lobby/tavern dining area and were showered with cheerful applause. "So you got your first beating from the captain, eh? That ought to put some hair on your chest. Plenty of guys come through here thinking that they're hot shit, and then they get a hard reality check." Sid's ears drooped as he declined yet another tankard of beer. "He doesn't drink. He's a good boy." "I'm not sure about that. I came here thinking I was pretty bad when I got hit with the reality that I'm pretty darn bad." The older mercenary, tending to Sid's bruised arm, chuckled. "Hey, it's all part of the process. You can't start getting good until you know where you're lacking, right? Don't let the captain's tough love fool you. He cares a great deal about his men. If you take his advice to heart, you're sure to grow into a better warrior." Sid let out a doubtful mumble. Sitting beside him, Artemy frowned thoroughly as she sipped from the only teacup in the entire Bonebreaker Guild Tavern building. "I was surprised. Despite his— you go away, please, thank you." "Despite his barbaric nature and dubious teaching methods, Sir Marrow is a rather wise man. I do feel better after our unorthodox battle. Letting loose and releasing all my pent-up feelings, it was truly cathartic. I certainly would have received a beating if I tried such a thing back at the Grand Cathedral. However," Artemy grimaced, I hope Sir Marrow is not upset that I lost control during our fights." A wave of snickers passed through the tavern that soon became outright laughter. Listen, she doesn't know this kind of thing. She just wants to make sure that, like, he's okay and that he's not mad. She's an anxious little bean, and I love her. That was utterly mad. Most of us never even managed to land a hit on the captain during our first sparring match with him. And you bit him. You, the prissy little knight. I've never seen Marrow so gobsmacked." Artemy frowned uncertainly. Is that good? Nothing in this guild makes sense." The crowd of mercenaries cackled in delight. The mercenary tending to their wounds grabbed a tankard and raised it with a grin. "A toast to our new clueless rookie." This was met with a roar of cheers as men left and right raised their cups with fond glee. Artemy flushed and buried her face in her teacup. She had never been under such a positive spotlight before, and she didn't even know why. It was hard to know how to respond. She glanced towards Sid, who was staring joylessly down at his tankard. "Oh no, it's because they want him to drink and he doesn't do a little drinky drink. He does a little drunky drunk." As long as you drink responsibly, I will say, and as long as you're over the age of whatever drinking age is in your country, then I'm cool with it. But if he doesn't want to drink, he doesn't want to drink. "So Sid, is something the matter?" "Oh, I'm fine. Just a little sore from the fight, that's all." He took a deep swig of his ale and quickly changed the subject. "Say, where did Cole go? Haven't seen him in a while." "Oh no, is he having a talk with Marrow?" "Oh yeah, he's having a talk with Marrow." Cole plopped down into a nearby crate and watched expectantly as his father cleaned the blade of his great axe. "So, what do you think, Papa? About my new crew?" Cole tried to hide the nervous hitch in his voice as he shifted in his seat. A wave of relief watched over him when Marrow chuckled and winked. "You found yourself a fine pair of underlings, boy. They'll make excellent adventuring partners for you." The older hyena scratched his chin thoughtfully as he holstered his axe. "That buff badger, Sid, was it? He's a good kid. Got some real nice strength and superb reflexes. Kinda spineless, though. He is indecisive and a real pushover who has trouble standing up for himself." Merrill rested his hand on Colt's shoulders. "As his leader, if you take good care of him, he's gonna take good care of you. You're a leader now, my boy. Make sure to give your new underlings the guidance they need. Cole nodded slowly. Aww, heartwarming. Where's the angst? Yeah, of course I will. Meryl's grin softened fondly as he began bandaging the teeth marks on his forearm. As for that night lass, she's got guts. I'll give her that. Even without that bullshit magic of hers, she's still a force of nature. Good choice, my boy. However, Meryl paused. When you get to my age, you start to get a sense of people when you cross swords with them. That lass, she's got a lot of bottled up rage. Meryl sighed and shook his head. Reminds me an awful lot of myself in my younger days. Be careful with that one. Cole winced as he remembered the pure wrath that poured from Artemy when she had confronted him in Clyde's office yesterday. Ooh, fuck. How do you deal with it when you were younger? A teasing grin spread across Meryl's face. Oh, are we gonna get some Meryl backstory? Or at least a little bit more Meryl backstory? Because Leather Daddy do be talking what wisdom. That's when I met my beautiful Hamish. He truly turned me into a better man. Cole scoffed and stuck out his tongue. I don't know, Papa. Out of all the men in the world, you chose that? No man in the world is comparable to my Hammy. Meryl's tone suddenly dipped to a low rumble. I know you two have never seen eye to eye, but never question my love for him. I wouldn't be a fraction of the man I am today if it wasn't for Hamish. If you say so. Oh, speak of the devil. The door creaked open as Hamish poked his head inside. Hun? I need to have a word with Cole. Ooh, hello. What about? What about Sorry, do I have to? No, I don't. No, I don't. No, I don't. No, I don't. It's fabric. Both Meryl and Cole's eyebrows rose in surprise. I need to have a word with you is usually Hamish speak for you're in big fucking trouble. Meryl mouthed a teasing good luck to Cole before slipping out of the room. Cole let out an irritated sigh as Hamish approached. All right. What do you want? Hamish blatantly ignores Cole's quarrelsome tone and sat down with him across from him with a stern expression. Oh, it's going to be about his magic talk, isn't it? I mean, I'm only assuming so. He's just been, avoiding it, so, what of it? There was an intensity as he gazed that left Cole feeling uncomfortable. So, you are a leader now. It wasn't a question. Cole crossed his arms and turned up his nose. Yeah, I am. What's it to you? Hamish's stern stare pierced right through him. This isn't just about you anymore. You have to do better. What are you talking about? Hamish let out a deep sigh and closed his eyes. Your father was a great and faithful leader throughout his time as the Bonebreaker Guild's captain. Everyone in this guild would happily lay down our lives for him. Do you know why? It's because he's done the same for us countless times. Mero truly loves everyone here. He knows their passions, their concerns, their insecurities, and works hard to build everyone up with undying support. He cares. Oh, fuck. Oh, call Cole out on it for not caring about literally anything in his life. As a leader and a friend, you need to build a similar relationship with your own teammates and treat them better. Cole shifted nervously in his seat. Well, of course. I've been treating them well. You don't have to worry about that. No. The ruby. Ooh! Tell Artemy, Joanna Gautier. Tell her the truth, bitch. Cole felt his stomach drop. How do you know about that? Wait. Are you gonna rat me out? Hamish shook his head calmly. No. You're a leader now. Admitting your wrongdoings will be your own responsibility. It's not my fault that those two are gullible little suckers. Plus, they beat me to a pulp, but they knew about the things that I did yesterday. Why do I have to? A snarl arose from Hamish's throat. Ooh, do not get in a fight with him. He's gonna beat your ass. He's gonna get the chocolate and beat you over the head with it. Relationships are vulnerable. Trust is a risk. If you're not willing to be either, then be alone. You You cannot screw them over and then abandon them like you did to Clyde years ago. You're better than this. Tell me about Clyde! That got so loud for a second. A red-hot flash of anger bubbled up from Cole's chest. He glared at Hamish, blood boiling and vision blurry with indignant rage. Who do you think you are? My dad? You don't know a fucking thing about me. What makes you think that you can go parenting me like some sort of glorified nanny? I've got no idea why Papa even puts up with you. Hamish's expression tightened as he sighed, completely unsurprised. Of course I know you, Cole. I raised you since you were a tiny, crying bundle in diapers. I know you have a hard time being honest with yourself, and you push back when you feel vulnerable. Hamish paused. Ooh, I wasn't ready for this much angst. Well, actually, no. This isn't as much angst as I've, dealt with Repeat. Fucking Sissel the bitch. But I also know that you can push past this and grow into a much better man. I care about you, Cole. Cole had barely processed Hamish's words before snapping back. Well, I don't give a damn about you. I know. A deathly silence filled the room. Cole managed to compose his racing heart to the lull, his animosity subsiding enough to eventually comprehend Hamish's words. As soon as his anger quelled, a twinge of guilt filled Cole's chest. He quickly swallowed it back down. Hamish let out another quiet sigh before standing and dusting off his breeches. That's all I had to say for today. Let's move on, shall we? Gather up your new teammates. I need to debrief them on their mission to find the prince's 4 missing rubies. That 4 stung. Even reading it, it stung. Cole watched the older hyena walk quietly out of the sparring room, his shoulders low with fatigue. A stubborn part of him wanted to dismiss everything that Hamish said, but the sharp twinge of guilt in his chest was becoming hard to ignore. As is right, bitch. Fuck. A brief time later, Hamish managed to drag Artemy and Sid away from the overly friendly crowd of drunk mercenaries with some difficulty. Cole blinked as they approached. Artemy was absolutely beaming, as though she had shared several entertaining conversations with a pleasant crowd. Sid, on the other hand, was sulking with his head hung low. What happened to you two? Oh, Cole, you should have joined us. Your fellow mercenary men were wonderful company, such cheer and camaraderie. I've never experienced anything... Take 2. I've never experienced anything like it. Sid shuffled across the room and slumped down next to Cole. He grumbled quietly. Yeah, they really like how tough the Chosen One is. Merrill's real impressed with her. Cole squinted between Artemy's oblivious grin and Sid's envious brooding. The air was thick with awkward one-sided tension. And Hamish told him to lead these two? What a mess he's found himself in. Speaking of Hamish, the older hyena completely avoided his gaze and as he pulled a large chalkboard from a nearby supply closet. Pinned to the board was a large map of Axia, along with several scribbled notes and details on the fighting ring incident from yesterday. What is this? A classroom lecture? Hamish shrugged. I'm rather fond of using chalkboards to plan out future missions. He turned towards Artemy with a nod and gestured for her to sit. I'd like to iron out some details before I send out my network of eyes and ears to locate your rubies. Of course. That sounds reasonable. Cole tapped his foot impatiently as he stared at the tiny writing on the chalkboard. Guess what, Cole? Patient. What the fuck is up with my throat? Patient the fuck up. Sit down, look, and listen. Okay? Fucking stop, collaborate, and listen. Berra. I'm gonna smack you. I thought you were supposed to be the brains behind the Bone Breakers. Are you telling us you haven't figured out anything yet? Hamish looked at him sharply. I should be asking you the same thing. His tone was steady and even. You were present during the fight, weren't you? As leader of your adventuring party, I expect you to be attentive to your friends' battles. Fights are not merely a time to cross blades. You can gather a lot of information about people from the way that they act during battle. Hamish sat down next to his sharp arm with arms crossed and gave Cole a hard stare. I feel awkward. Good writing, Shiro. Now, you tell me, who is this cloaked mage, and what direction should this investigation go? Cole grumbled and shifted uncomfortably under Hamish's gaze. Was this some sort of test? Was Hamish trying to make him look bad in front of his new lackeys? Artemy instead glanced towards him unexpectedly, eagerly waiting for his response. Cole cleared his throat and stared at the chalkboard. Sweat started to bead across his brow. If this was a test, he fully refused to give Hamish the satisfaction of seeing him fail. What can he analyze from yesterday's events? Okay. Well, let's start off with the obvious. The cloaked figure is a very powerful mage. Cole scratched his chin thoughtfully. A mass mind control spell. Counterspell, shield, conjure elemental. They're probably versed in the wizardry class of magic, or maybe druidcraft? No, wizardry is more likely. He nodded slowly as he slowly... Whoa, V'd read. He nodded slowly as he slowly replayed yesterday's events in his mind. They also spoke down to everyone, calling them peasants and whatnot. Not to mention how they ramble on and on about how big and important they are. This mage is likely a noble or someone of a higher class. Cole closed his eyes and thought hard. What else? When I grabbed one of the rubies, they tackled me to the ground and we wrestled for a little bit. They didn't feel very muscular or physically strong. Probably someone on the scrawnier side. They stood around 5'10", give or take. As for motives, I'm willing to bet that these rubies have magical or arcane properties. This mage of ours is someone who has a need for power status. Likely words alone, too. They're familiar enough with the city to know about Clyde's fighting ring, so they're probably a native of Axia as well. Cole opened his eyes and suddenly realized everyone was staring at him. Impressive, Cole. Oh, yes, look at Cole actually knowing how to do something instead of being a little bibbidi-bobbidi bitch. I swear to God, I will jump into the world of Axia at some point. And even though you're probably going to be like, ooh, I will beat you to a pulp. I will fight you. I like you, but I will fight you. End of discussion. Your deductive skills are quite formidable. Sid scratched his head sullenly. I kinda got mind controlled, so I don't remember any of this. Good to know my boss is a smart one, though. Cole grinned slightly and drank up all their praise, feeling his ego inflate slightly. And you know what the best part is? Tomorrow is the beginning of the city's Firefly Festival. Usually we want to be able to just waltz into the noble court, but nobles and regular city folk alike will be participating. It's one of the few chances that the different classes of Axia will be intermingling casually. Whatever. Food stalls, brawling matches, even a jousting tournament. It'll be the perfect opportunity for us to investigate and maybe befriend a few nobles. That is a sound strategy. Though I am worried if we'll be lucky enough to run into our mysterious cloaked mage along all the nobles at the festival. We don't need to be lucky. It's a small world among the Axian nobles. They're filled with gossip and news about one another. Even if we don't meet this mage directly, we can probably dig info about them or people who have been acting suspicious lately. Cole crossed his arms and faced Hamish with a smug grin. How's that for my leadership skills, huh? Hamish nodded with a small smile. Not bad. Not bad at all. However, you are missing one crucial detail. Ooh, what kind of crucial detail? What kind of crucial detail? He tapped the church district area of the map of Axia and traced a line to Rotten Red's alleyway. How did this mage know that the ruby crown would end up in Clyde's ring yesterday? Everyone blinked in surprise. It's the fucking cat! Dude, the fucking cat. Artemy was supposed to deliver the crown directly to the royal family castle. However, she was tricked by a young street urchin who stole it and later sold it to Clyde. Even more suspiciously, this detail was originally supposed to be made by someone else entirely. The task was assigned to Artemy last minute by her Knight Commander. Hamish turned his gaze toward Artemy. Assigned to someone inexperienced and quite gullible, if you allow me to say. Artemy winced but conceded with a defeated nod. I mean, true. I mean, very true. Hamish stared at the map with a thoughtful squint. This leaves us with several questions. How did the urchin know that Artemy would have something valuable enough to pawn off to Clyde? Furthermore, why was the mage so certain that the rubies would end up in the fighting ring? There's something fishy going on here. The older hyena turned towards the three young adventurers staring at him. I suggest that you three take time to speak with the Knight Commander and find this street urchin. They might have some answers to what's truly happening behind the scenes. We love a little bit of detective work, okay? I played enough Danganronpa. I'm watching enough How to Get Away with Murder. I'm on season 3. I'm halfway through the series. A little less than halfway, but still halfway. Let's go. Artemy and Sid exchanged impressed looks. That makes sense. I didn't even think this far ahead. Your intellect is truly something to be admired, Sir Hamish. I can see who Cole gets his cunning mind from. Cole spluttered indignantly and crossed his arms. Excuse me? Hamish never taught me shit. Your cunning mind? Obviously coming from Hamish? Excuse me, weón, cállate tu boca. Cállate tu pinche boca, weón. Artemy nodded shrewdly. They say that the greatest teachers are able to impart wisdom without their pupils realizing. You're irritating me on purpose, aren't you? I do not see why you dislike the idea of benefiting from another's guidance. Yeah, I mean, Hamish sounds as smart as the tales say that he is. Sid, you're supposed to be on my side. Uh-huh. Well, guess what? People can say that, you know, a special little hyena is fucking smart. Okay, we love a smart hyena in this house, period. Not one that's slutty and a bitch. Sid scratched his head in bewilderment. What are we taking sides on? Hamish stood up and clapped his hands together. Alright, kids. Enough squabbling. Why don't you three take the rest of the evening off? Artemy looked utterly aghast. Take time off? But we're supposed to be working! You three fought in Clyde's fighting ring yesterday and got the shit kicked out of you by Marrow today. That's enough to exhaust anyone. Use this time to rest up before the real work begins tomorrow. The three adventurers glanced at each other before nodding in agreement. Sounds like a plan. Alright. To be continued! Alright, hold on. Let me just, real quick. Wow. I didn't think that was gonna be, that quick. So, with that being said, though, this is probably going to be the last episode of Temptations Ballad for at least 6 months? At least. I only say that just because Shiro has a thing now where he does 6 months of Temptations Ballad and then 6 months of repeat. So I'm probably going to be back at this probably by August or September. I'm only assuming if that's what his plan is. Hi, bitch. That's not his plan. At all. Hi, I'm editing. Look at how scary my fursuit head looks. She's becoming a furry. I made this video. I recorded this video months ago. Shiro is not going into a depressive episode today. So she's still working on Temptations Ballad, not repeat. So expect more Temptations Ballad. You're stuck with this for a hot minute, bitch. Back to the video. So wait, March, April, May, June, July, August. Yeah, like September or October, I should probably say. So hopefully I should be able to get a little bit of repeat in during that. For right now, I think I know another series that I'm going to be doing while this is on hiatus, if he does not update repeat in a little bit. And so, yeah, with that, I'm going to pause the episode right there. Thank you all so much for watching. My name is Veed. I hope that you had a wonderful time watching this. I hope that you have had a wonderful time watching me do a game plan on who this bitch is, who this bitch might be, and whatever else. Make sure to hit the like, comment, subscribe buttons down below. You're gonna help a full YouTuber out. Make sure to hit that notification bell so in that way you don't miss about any of my uploads. And I will see you in the next episode. Goodbye.